This episode will blow your mind when I share with you something that if you've been thinking that, my God, you don't deserve to be here, it's not your space to claim. Maybe you have been working in a full-time role in another industry and now you're trying to transition into being a holistic service provider and you're feeling hopeless. You're thinking like people don't want to work with you. Then this episode is for you, because I'm going to blow your mind with the secret that's going to help you shift away from doing what you think you should be doing versus doing what you should really be doing. Okay? So, if you're a holistic wellness service provider, and what I mean by this is you are someone that is not a GP or a specialist that the mainstream medicine gives people free access to, right? I mean, Medicare, if you're not, a part of the Medicare system in Australia or the NHS system in the UK, that people have to actually pay extra to go and see you, then you are a complementary medicine or a specialist, someone that the GP that people get subsidized to see. You are that, right? You're a holistic professional in our category of people. Now, what's different about you is that people have to see that they can trust you to work with you, and they are not coming to you for, just a transaction, right? Like they cut themselves and they're like, right, I'm going to go to Supriya to get my cut fixed. Okay, unless I know them personally, they're not going to look for me. I'm an Ayurveda practitioner, I'm a yoga practitioner and teacher and mentor. So they're not going to look for me. They're going to look for me last, or they're going to look for me when they are, on their journey of healing, proper healing. So think about that. Who are you, right? As a professional in this space that you're in, whatever your niche is, maybe you are a chiropractor, you're an osteopath or a physiotherapist or a Bowen therapist. Whatever your therapy is, you will be getting some from referrals, right? But the rest of it, you're going to have to show people that you are someone they can, build something with, like a relationship, to be able to start the process of personal transformation. This applies to financial advisors, financial planners, even financial planners have become very mainstream because of superannuation funds, right? So if you're not part of that government stream of things, then you're going to have to make sure that your marketing is speaking in a way that is building relationships. So let's talk about what this means for you, those of you that are in this space, who are holistic professionals, wellness service providers. And wellness is such a wide branch, isn't it? Wellness is not just health or well-being. And well-being, wellness is so broad now. It can be looked at as spiritual, emotional, physical, fiscal, meaning financial, okay, relationship, okay, getting this? So these are all areas of our lives. We are looking for wellness in them, right? And so we need practitioners like you and me to give guidance and to give support to people wanting to achieve personal transformation in. So, people are looking to build relationships with those people like you, and this is called a partnership. And if you're not looking and talking and presenting yourself as a partner that can be a partner, then guess what? Then you're going to set yourself up for being viewed as somebody who's not. Now, let me explain this a little bit further with what today's topic is really trying to communicate. Last week, I shared with you a handout. You need to go there now and download it, because this is communicating to you what the thinking behind being a successful, holistic entrepreneur does in the marketplace. Okay, how they actually start building this relationship. So one of the biggest reasons why you don't do this correctly is because your value system is missing the training and the value system of investing in you being a better business developer. But you go and develop your skills and your expert knowledge, and your industry gives you incentives to go and do that. And there's more of an inclination for you to go and upgrade your skill set, but you don't really invest in developing your marketing skills or business skills. So today's episode is really going to highlight to you the number one business skill that you need to learn, which I, compare to dating, which I compare to the process of choosing or finding your partners, your, permanent partners, or if you're a monogamous, then, that one partner, one person to work with for at least a year or so, right? You may not want to marry them, but they could be serving a purpose for you that's meaningful and wholesome for you. So similarly, this is the role that we play in people's lives, giving them the support and guidance they need for the goals of personal transformation they have. So let's talk about that big mistake you're making that's actually repelling people from you. And just like dating, what this is that you are coming across as someone that is either completely not attracting or attracted to the person in front of you, or you're completely overdoing it and you're asking them to sleep with you on the first date, or you're asking them to marry you on the first date. And what this means is this overkill of one extreme or the other. This is what's repelling your prospects and people. And before you tune out today, I want to share with you what I mean by this so that you can open your eyes and change this straight away, quick, smart. So as I was sharing, go to the link in the show notes and download that handout, because it's going to get you started thinking like what I'm about to share with you that needs to happen so that you can start attracting more suitable, aligned, soul matching people into your life, be it clients or providers for yourself, and you be their providers in exchange. So what is it that you need to think, right? So when you are being looked for by, suppose, not you particularly, but your expert service is being searched for on Google, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Google, say search engines, then you come up, but why are people not coming to you and going elsewhere? What the uneducated and disinterested person, professional does is they go into their competitor's website and then they try and copy the competitor's website content or format and think that that's what's going to attract, the same amount of clients to them. And this couldn't be far from the truth. And it not only is far from the truth, but it's actually wasting more time, energy, resources, and putting people off rather than bringing people towards you. So what's the thing that's happening, right? So as I said, it's like finding your soulmate, right? And we call this process finding your aligned customers. But we need to clarify exactly what does this ideal customer need from us. So when we know what they need from us, then we also show up in that way. Your customers, my customers, they're not dying. Okay, they're looking to create a change in their life. They're not dying, they're not fully ill, okay, they're not crippled. They are looking for a lifestyle change, mindset change. They're looking for a way of life change. And they are looking and shopping for the right people to be with. Okay, so think about going on a date and all you care about is getting into bed with them or getting married to them. Then what's the other person going to think? What if it was you? What if it was the other way around? Right? It's funny, right, to think about, especially if you're single and unmarried like myself. This is the cold hard truth that I also wasn't really getting or wasn't even seeing because I was never really shown this. But internally I had all these thoughts about, how to be a better practitioner, how to be of better service, how to have all the knowledge I had to have, or I didn't even have to have, but actually imposed on myself that, I want to learn this. But I kept digging deeper into that well, but I never really got interested in, hey, how am I actually going to help this person? That person that I know needs my help. Okay, and wants my help, but I'm not showing up as that person. What I'm showing up as is the GP. Think about it. I'm showing up as a transactional kind of a place where I am leaving it into other people's hands to come and approach me. And the first thing I say, right, is how much it costs to work with me. And think about it this way, right? The way we are doing this, if you are doing this, then you need to correct this. A lot of holistic professionals out there, the way they are doing this is being transactional is they're either not communicating, a way to get to know them, or they are just pointing people to the list of services and prices. Pay me only $40 to come and see me for 30 minutes, and then I'll tell you what I can do for you for the better prices. That is so transactional. What's also transactional is acting like a receptionist of a hotel management team, right? And you stand there as if you're a shop and people come to you and talk to you, and then you're just giving transactional answers like, if you go to my website, then you can find the answers and all the prices and packages are listed there. All the steps are written there. Okay. And do you see the behavior is so repelling? It's almost like, let's flip the storyline here. What if it was like you're looking for your life soulmate, and then, you go and message a prospect, and they come back to you saying, okay, what's your age? Gets all your data, and then throws back at you going, now you can take this step. Okay. So it's very transactional, dry, and too, rigid, and it doesn't build that likability, trust, and authority with the person to go, actually, I really resonate with this person. I really want to work with them. Sometimes we make this mistake by thinking if I post enough IG posts or YouTube posts, if I do some practice videos, like I cook or I clean or I do whatever I do and I put it on my website, then people will know what it's like to work with me. That's part of building authority, but not all. So let's talk about, what's got to change straight away. You've got to come away from, being transactional and more into being a leader that can offer a transformation to your people. There's a step-by-step process in the Holistic Business Accelerator program where you go through this deeper thinking process, and then, hey, you can automate so much of this, but your blueprint needs to be translated into little steps and processes that speaks to prospects that don't even know you, to go, oh, look, I want to change my lifestyle, and they look up, something on Google or Instagram, and then look up the keywords, and they find your account or your post, and what they should find is something for them to go, oh, now I can go and do something with this information. And it shouldn't be that, oh, I'll go straight to the website and find out how much it is. Okay, that if that's the communication, whether it be through a Google search or they call you or they contact you, the response they should get is something that invites them into your world. Like on a first date, it's 1 hour chatting, it's a chai or a soft drink and a walk, right? Just a brisk talk. And then you see if there's a desire to work with you more, or you see if you feel like going back to them again. And they give you reasons to go back to them, right? There has to be a reason to go back to you. So you create that pathway for them to come back. So once they have been given that little step by step by you, then they start to see that, hey, this person is actually giving me value from day one. They're giving me value. I see that, they're interested in my well-being. And you know what? I actually want to go now invest in myself working with them. So let me give you an example of what I used to do, right? And this is where I found that the biggest difference that happened for my business was when I changed this for myself, which is I used to have my website. So this is going back like at least 8-9 years ago, right? So I had 10 years ago to be quite exact. And I had that basic website, which looked like a menu, which had all the classes, sessions, services, price list, timetable, schedule, and phone number or inquiry form. That's it. And then you have got the pages on descriptions. So in this way of communication, what they used to do is they contact me on phone. I would call them back. And what I stopped doing is giving them exactly what they wanted on the phone. Okay, so I flipped the entire process that I used to work in. Is that first process that I used to have, which wasn't really a good thing for me as a business, is they call me, they ask me, hey, so when can I join? When are your sessions? How much is it, etc. And I would give them the answers, and then they'd be like, yeah, okay, now I'll come back to you, right? So the ball becomes in their court, and then I'm just like, oh, okay. Can you see? Like if it was the first date and I'm just answering questions, and then they go, okay, I'll call you, okay? And then they never call. Or they might call, but I have no say in it. So how to shift this, how to change this ball game is by building a customer journey that gives you the clarity of exactly how much information this person should get, so that you can create an opportunity for them to really come back to you, okay? So that you can give them a little bit more, so that they can take the next step to enroll with you. Even if that's not a 3-step process, you create that process first, then you speak. and then you go on a date, okay? Because the thing is, when I changed that, that's when people started seeing me as their leader. Okay, otherwise, what it looked like is that I'm the receptionist who answered the calls, and then, I was losing a lot of sales. I was losing and repelling a lot of people that were actually looking for a trusted teacher and a therapist. So, what we discussed today is, number one, as a holistic professional, your position in the marketplace overall, right? Overall, you are not the emergency place. You are the complementary practitioner. You are the complementary service provider. Or you are someone that people seek out to make a change, like an overall holistic transformational change. So from that perspective, you are obliged to develop a relationship with your clients, be it with whatever boundaries. We work that out in our processes as well. We don't just, go, a relationship has to be like, a partnership in a personal relationship. It doesn't. But this relationship would have its own dynamics, which positions you as a leader and them to be the person that gets led. And it becomes a partnership because there's an agreement based on the value you present yourself to be providing to them. So next is, we talked about that the biggest thing that repels people is this overkill of one extreme or the other, which is you're either coming across as someone that's wanting to marry them on the first date, or getting into bed with them on the first date, or not being interested in them at all. Okay? Two extremes. So you don't want to be either of them. You actually want to be right in the middle lane where you're seeing them, then you're guiding them, and then you are inviting them in to your world step by step. And then what we discussed is, what are the signs telling you that, that you're doing this? Currently, you're doing this unconsciously because you don't have the training. You don't have that mind to work with. That's why you only learn this stuff by having been in the industry, having been doing the business for a while, like I have. You learn this stuff not by accident. You've got to learn it quick, smart. And one of the essentials is, when you get a coach, you get to develop these things into your business so that you can start being seen as a leader in the market. So that's what we discussed. And one thing you need to do straight away is go and download the handout, the sheet, which is your customer journey. Once you do the exercises in there, you're going to start to see a clear idea about exactly how you're going to lead your people. And this is going to shift. It's going to change the way you do business. It's going to change the way you serve people. And by the way, another thing, I want you to join the community which I'm building. It's a free, closed community of holistic entrepreneurs. We will talk all things mindset. You will be able to ask any questions about these podcasts I release. And this is a place where, holistic entrepreneurs can go. And this is a private community off Facebook. And I used to have a Facebook group, and I just can't do all that in all different places. So for me, the most effective funnel that works really well is that I release a podcast, which is my content of the week. Then I'm open for questions and answering anything that I want to answer within a private community where this content is, kind of circulated, within the listener group, not everybody. And it's all like related to this holistic entrepreneurship journey, and then we take that and feed this to anybody in that group that needs one-on-one or needs more care on their journey, like, getting into one of my paid programs. So that's kind of like the step-by-step funnel to getting into my world, to working with me. So that's my strategy in my holistic business coaching world, which is, I'm not asking you to pay me to work with me straight away. I'm constantly giving you value. I'm giving you, weekly dose of, something to think about to help you improve your business skills or in your professional skills. And then you take that into your world and then you think about it. If it's something that you feel resonant with and you want to achieve those goals, then you reach out, make a booking of a strategy session, or come into one of the launch webinars and check out the group program intake and then take a step from there. So can you see that the reason why people won't want to pay you the money straight away is because you're not an emergency place. Second, they don't know you. There's so many people out there in the marketplace now, and doesn't mean that you don't stand a chance. It's just that you need to get invested in this journey as well. And a lot of holistic professionals that are so gifted are still missing out on so many good clients because they haven't invested in this stuff, And luckily, many of those that I know, if they're listening, I'm sorry, the thing is, like, if you have people supporting you financially, you actually don't act on these things. But people like me and people that mentor me, we don't depend on financially, we don't depend on, anyone. And it's not just the finance, it's more about just developing myself holistically. Like, I want to get strong as a leader through what I know, what I do, and what work I do matters to me. And I've always, wanted to encourage that in my clients and students, which is, once you start to be a holistic professional, that means if you're not working for others or you're working for yourself, it doesn't matter. Your evolution will keep happening, and it needs to keep happening because you need to keep evolving in the way you do things, and I've seen this happen quite a lot where people get qualified, like they get certified, and then they start acting like the employees, which is like, oh, now I get to have another job. And then they go and look to create a job for themselves, which is not evolution of you. You are there to be a leader. Like, the knowledge that you have gained, the experience that you have gained, you've got to pass it on. So the journey of a business woman or an entrepreneur is to now grow a business where you can start training others to do what you did, so you can keep evolving to be a leader, leading others evolve. However, that takes time, right? Don't forget, it takes time, but you got to get started from day one. And if this is resonating with you, I'm sure you should be a part of that community that I just opened yesterday, actually. It's been in the making for a while. I haven't invited any of the Facebook people or my internal community on there yet. But hopefully that's where we'll be meeting and connecting privately, okay, in person. And if you're listening to this, find the show notes and the links in there, and you'll find all the details in there. I trust this has been of value on your journey in this week. Remember, instead of showing them what to do, show them who you are, how much you care, and have a system in place that can help the people choose you. And please download that, worksheet so that you can also get started thinking the way I was saying, that you need to think about the customer journey when you are engaging with new prospects. All right, my friend, see you next week on another episode.